Shalom Aleichem. We have another learning from the Sefer HaMitzvos, Rambam, the Sefer HaMitzvos, Rambam, about the Dinei Beis HaBechira, the dinim of the Beis HaMikdosh, and this is that it's a mitzvah for the Kohanim and the Levim to be walking around the Mishkan and the Beis HaMikdosh all night long, to show why, for not to watch it, but to show the kavod for the Beis HaBechira, to show the kavod for Hashem's house among the people of the Bnei Yisrael, because they say when you're showing kavod to the Beis HaBechira, it gives much more kavod than to just let it stay there, God forbid, without watching. Anyway, let's take a look right now. 1 minute. This is Sefer HaMitzvos, Rambam. Sefer HaMitzvos, Rambam. Let's get to it. Here we are. This is Shir Kuf Nun, the 150th Shir, and this is HaMitzvah Chuf Beis, the 22nd Mitzvah, Hatzivui Shenitzavinu Lishmor Es HaMikdosh, the commandment that we are commanded to watch over the Mikdosh, the Beis HaMikdosh, Loleches, that's the temple, Loleches Savivo, Tamid Bechol Laila, B'meshech Kol HaLaila Kedei Lechabdo, in order to walk around it the whole time, constantly, every Bechol Laila, every night, Bechol Laila, B'meshech Kol HaLaila, for the duration of the whole night, Kedei Lechabdo, in order to give it honor, to show that this has chashivus, this has a lot of, it's very chashuv, it's important. Or the Rambam, to give it important, to bring it up, to make it high, or the Gadlo, to make it big, to make it great. Who Amro Yisrael, it says in the Torah, Li'Aharon, to Aharon, it's a Hashem gives a commandment to Aaron. It says a commandment is given to Aaron. Biyato uvonecho itach lefnei ohel ha'edus, and you and your sons with you in front of the ohel ha'edus, in front of the tent of meeting. In other words, you should be in front of the tent of meeting. Zeh b'lashon, lefnei ohel ha'edus. This is Bamidbar Yudches. This is in the Chumash Bamidbar. Yudches, Bamidbar 18, Beis, the second pasuk. Kelomar, meaning, which means to say, Atem tihiyu lefonov tamid. You should be in front of it constantly. You should be in front of it at all times, tamid. Uchvar nechbal tzibuy zeh b'loshon acher. And this commandment was repeated in a different way, in a different lashon, a different language. V'hu amro, it says, v'shamru es mishmeres oel moed, and you should watch do the watching for, you should watch to be watchful of the oel moed. In other words, you should watch, you should observe, that you should always be doing the duty of guarding the Ohel Moed. This shows its chashivus. This shows that it's an important thing. Sham Daled. L'shon Sefri, and in the words of the Sefri, Parshas Kuf Reish Ches, Sham, in the Sefri, Parshas Kuf Reish Ches, over there, quote, it says, Ato uvonecha itach lifnei ohel ha'edus. You and your children, you and your sons with you, in front of the tent of meeting. In other words, you should be there watching it. Ata uvanecha itach, you and your sons with you. Lefnei ohel ha'edas, in front of the tent of meeting. HaKohanim mi bifnim, v'halaviyim mi bachutz. The Kohanim, the priests, mi bifnim, are to be guarding it from the inside of the Ohel Moed. V'halaviyim, and the Leviim, the Levites, they're the ones that help the Kohanim, mi bachutz. They are to be walking around outside of the tent of meeting, of the Ohel Ha'edos, of the Ohel Moed, that's the Mikdosh, that's the Beis HaMikdosh, the temple. Kilomar, which means to say, L'Shemira V'Lahalicha Sevivo. In other words, for watching it, and also walking around, Lahalicha, walking around it, Sevivo, around it. In other words, the people to be watching it, and also there's the act of walking around it. Of the Mechilta, and it says in the Mechilta, Amro Balashon Hazeh. In the Mechilta, it says in this language, in this Lashon, V'shamru es mishmeres oel moed, ein li ela ba'asei, minayin below sa'asei, Talmud lomar, ushmartem es mishmeres hakodesh. V'shamru es mishmeres oel moed, and you should watch, you should observe, you should fulfill this mishmeres, the watching of the Ohel Moed, of the watching of the Beis HaMikdosh, of the Ohel Moed, the tent of meeting. Ainly ela ba'asei. We know that this is an asei, that this is a positive commandment. Minayin below sasei. How do we know that it's also a negative commandment? In other words, if one fails to watch it, that's a negative commandment. God forbid. Talmud lomar, so it says, Ushmartem eis mishmeres hakodesh. Ushmartem eis mishmeres hakodesh. And you should watch the act of taking care of watching the Beis HaMikdosh. And shamor, when it says shamor, that means it's a lo saseh, you should observe it. So the first one, so it says here, Vishamru es mishmeres oel moed. One should watch one should make sure to keep the mishmeres oel moed. One should observe the watching of the Ohel Moed, the tent of meeting. Ainli ela ba'asei. We know this is it's a positive commandment. Minayin below sasei. How do we know that it's also a negative commandment to fail to, God forbid, to fail to be watching it? In other words, we shouldn't be lax in failing to watch the Beis Hashem. Talmud lomar. So therefore it says, Ushmartem es eis mishmeres hakodesh. And you should watch, it says it a second time, you should watch the Mishmeres HaKodesh, you should be observant of the watching of the mitzvah of watching the Beis HaBechira, Sham Hei. Hine nisbar lecha sheshmiraso mitzvah saseh. So we know it's made clear to us. It's made clear to us, sheshmiraso, that it's watching mitzvah saseh is a positive commandment, and also a negative commandment. Okay, because we had said this that it's a positive commandment, and how do we know that it's a negative commandment? Because it says, "V'shamru es mishmeres oel moed." Nisbor lecha sheshmiraso mitzvah saseh. V'sham amru, and over there it says, Gedula l'hamikdosh sheyesh aleho shomrim. It shows greatness for the mikdash that there are people that watch it. Lo dome paltorin heichal hamelech sheyesh aleho shomrin lepaltorin she'ein aleha shomrin. It's not. There's no comparison between the kavod of a castle, a palace, a palace. That's the Heichal HaMelech, the place where the king stays, or where he is. Sheyesh aleha shomrin, that has guards to it. Lepaltorin she'ein aleha shomrin, to a palace that does not have guards that are watching over it. The palace that has guards watching over it is a much more important. It shows that it's important. It shows that the people are watching it. It's chashuv. So it's much more important than a palace that does not have people watching over it. V'yadua, and it's known, shepaltorin shem ha'ichal ritzono, shepaltorin shem ha'ichal. And it's known that paltorin, a palace, or a castle, shem ha'ichal. This is the heichal. This is the place of the mikdosh, the Beis HaMikdosh, Ritzono Lomar, which means to say, shemigedulas ha'heichal b'romamuso, from the greatness of the heichal, of the Beis HaMikdosh, b'romamuso, and also it's very high, spiritually high. B'romamuso is very high. Sheyiyu shomrim kavuim olav. That, so from its gedula, from its greatness, we know sheyiyu shomrim kavuim olav, that there should always be set watchmen over it. Set watchmen. Sheyiyu shomrim, that there should be watchmen. Kivuim olav. Kivuim means a set time and a set place. This is your set position. So from its greatness and its spiritual greatness, we know that there should be all the time watchmen that are always set and regular there at all times. That it's a makam kavua for them. Kavarin is ba'aru. Makam kavua means it's a set place. It's always a fixed that they should be there. So that shows the gedula, the greatness of the heichal, of the Beis HaMikdosh. Kavarin is ba'aru called inei mitzvah, and it's explained all of the dinim of this mitzvah. Beperek Aleph Mesechet Tamid u'Mesechet Midos, from the first parak of Mesechet Tamid, from the Mesechet of Tamid that's in the Talmud, over Mesechet Midos, and Mesechet Midos in the Talmud. Mitzvah Samach Zayin. The Mitzvah Samach Mem Nun Samach. Samach is 67. Hazorah shehuzharnu melahashbis shmiras HaMikdosh v'lasov bo tomid kol halayla. This is the commandment. This is a warning. Hazorah is a warning. Shehuzharnu, we are warned against melahashbis shmiras HaMikdosh, from not doing it, from not doing what we have to do. In other words, we have to make sure to do it. So this is a mitzvah of we shouldn't be not fulfill our duties in not watching the mikdash. V'lasov bo tamid kol halayla, And part of the watching of the Beis HaMikdosh is to go around it all the time, the whole time, kol halayla, the whole night. And it says in the Torah, Ushmartem eis mishmeres hakodesh, and you should be observant and fulfill the commandment of Mishmeres HaKodesh, watching the Kodesh, watching the holy place, and the things, the Varim Kedoshim that are in there. This shows the chashivas, and it's a kavod for the Beis HaMikdosh, the house of Hashem. Ukvar be'arnu b'mitzvah chav beis, mitzvos